Hey there, YouTube. Ghost Jake here with you today. How's your day going? My day's going pretty good. Now, I'm about to do my review of the season 2 finale of The Exorcist, which aired today. I just got done watching it on Hulu because by the time I got home today, it was already airing by the time I got home today, so I just decided to skip it and watch it on Hulu. Now, anyway, let's get started. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Now, this episode of the Exorcist TV show the season finale was actually really, really good. I actually liked it. I liked it quite a bit. It's gonna be very nervous waiting to see if it gets picked up for season 3. And I really, really hope it gets picked up for the season 3 because the way how it ended is like, the way how it ended is like, this is probably going to get picked up for season 3. And I'm not too sure. I haven't been checking this season, but I think I haven't really been checking, full on, but I think the ratings have been pretty consistent for season 2. But anyway, let's get started. Now, where this episode picks up, it picks up in Father Bennett's room, and all of a sudden he wakes up, and he sees his sister, right? Father Bennett sees his sister, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't real." It's like he's pretty much saying this isn't real. There's no way you can be here right now. And guess what? He is right because he is still in his coma. But he promises his sister's hallucination that he would never leave again. But the reason why I said hallucination is because after he says he'll never leave again, right? What happens is that the camera turns to these two guys, and these two guys are, in fact, like integrated demons or corrupt priests or whatever they are, right? And then the camera pans down, right? The camera pans down, and you see, and what do you see when the camera pans down? You see like the integration demon jar where the demon is trying to get integrated into Father Bennett's mind. So these two priests or integrated demons, whatever they are, you're trying to integrate Father Bennett. And then that is the very beginning of the episode, before the credits roll. Now we're going to Andy's Island. Now on Andy's Island, because that's the last time we see of Father Bennett until the final part of it, of the ending sequence. We see Marcus on Andy's Island. We see Marcus dragging. He's dragging the unconscious possessed, or not really possessed at this point. So I integrated Andy. But, possessed Andy, integrated Andy, almost pretty much the same thing. But dragging him back to the house where they were fleeing so he can continue the exorcism. Now, and then all of a sudden up the path comes Father Thomas. Since in episode 9, if you guys remember correctly, he woke up. Mouse woke Father Thomas up at the end of episode 9. Now, Father Ben, Father Marcus, Father Thomas, and Father and Mouse, exchange a few words, and then they started doing the exorcism with Andy, right? Start doing the exorcism with Andy, and it's not working at all. Not working, not working, not working whatsoever at all. But they are they're trying to figure out what to do now, pretty much. Since exorcism isn't working, and Mouse pulls out a gun, and she is planning on shooting Andy to save his life, because they don't have enough time with the police closing in and the corruption in the church closing in. Also, they are running out of time to do this exorcism. But anyway, right? But anyway, and then Father Marcus, takes the gun out of her hand and he's like, "No, we're exorcists. We're not going to do this." and then Father Thomas tells Mouse and Father Marcus, "There's another way." He's like, "I could let the demon inside my mind again because it wants me." Kind of similar how it's very similar to how it's been a while since I watched the movie, but it's kind of similar how with this demon wanting Thomas, how the demon in the Dominion, the prequel of The Exorcist, wanted the young Father Merrin after he fell from God. It's pretty similar to those two circumstances, but a little bit different at the same time too. Anyway, and then Father Marcus is objecting to this, and then Father Thomas is like, we were running out of time. There was no other choice. And then he tells the father to he pretty much says to Marcus and Mouse, "Bring me back." Right, and then he pretty much tells the demon, "Come and get me," right? And then he lets it into his mind. Now, we go back to Andy's house, right? But not really Andy's house, because it's, in Thomas's mind and in Andy's mind. Now, what is happening is, like before before Thomas let him in, they deducted that the real Andy is preventing the demon, from escaping, so they can kill it or exorcise it, right? Now then, what happens next? Let's see. Okay. Well, like I said, at Andy's house, and then there's a flashlight on the table, and he's grabs a flashlight, looking around. I think he's trying to find the demon, and then all of a sudden, Father Thomas goes upstairs, and Father Thomas goes upstairs, and then he hits, and then the demon's coming at him, and then all of a sudden Andy hits the demon with a baseball bat, right? And then Andy's saying, I don't know how much longer I can hold this thing, because it is pretty much coming back stronger every single time I defeat it, right? And all of a sudden, Andy gets grabbed, right, and the demon. All of a sudden, the demon gets the demon grabs Andy and drags him through the room. When Father Thomas looks for him, and they find him in the bathroom. Andy barricades the door. I mean, not Andy. Thomas barricades the door. My bad, I said the wrong name there accidentally. But Thomas barricades the door, and they start talking. Right. But a little before that, they were in the room, and Andy was telling. I can't believe I forgot this part because it comes in handy. Because it kind of comes in handy at the end. Um, they're in a room, and Andy was telling Father Andy was telling Father Thomas, certain, like, oh, we need to, like, since Andy is prepared to die, and he's telling Father Thomas that what he wants to tell his kids. Okay, now back to the bath. Now we go to the boat really fast where the kids are on. They're getting ready to leave the island. And Verity asks Shelby to. This might have happened way before the whole mind link stuff, but I just got caught up in the mind link. But the kids say like a prayer for Andy, and Verity asks, like for forgiveness and whatever. Forgiveness. Okay, now back to the action. Okay, then while they're in the bathroom, and Andy's wounded because the demon just messed him up, and Andy's pretty much on his deathbed. There is a reference to The Exorcist, actually, their movie. It's very subtle, but I picked up on it. There's actually a couple references in this episode to the actual movies. The first one is the one I'm about to tell you right now. It's Father Thomas sees the demon. Right? He sees the demon, and he tells the demon because he was saying prayers to the door, and then all of a sudden the demon, the painting started to melt and come up. Right? And this black goo started coming up in the kitchen, in the bathroom tile, and then the reference is he said to take, Father Thomas said, take me and leave Andy. Now, was that a reference in The Exorcist? Yes. That's a reference in The Exorcist, even though it's just one sentence. Because in the movie The Exorcist, Father Damien Karras pretty much said that exact same thing before he jumped out the window after the old Marin got killed by the demon. Right? And then that's how Reagan was saved. The younger Reagan got saved was because the demon went into Father Damien Karras. And then, while the demon knocked Father Thomas to the ground and was starting to integrate him, and you could actually see in reality that he was starting to get integrated because his eye was starting to change, get that weird integrated eye color, right? And then all of a sudden, excuse me. Then all of a sudden, Mouse knows something is wrong with Andy. I mean, not Andy, Father Thomas. And Father Thomas is like, oh, you need to, Father, then all of a sudden Andy wakes up. It says, Marcus, if you can hear me, shoot me now. Shoot me now. Kill me. Right? And then all of a sudden, Marcus shoots Andy and pretty much saves Andy. Now, the shoot me now thing, that is also a reference from The Exorcist. From The Exorcist 3. Because that movie, if I remember correctly, it's been probably at least a year or so since I've seen that movie. It's been a long time. But if I remember correctly, in that movie, that is how Father Damien Karras got saved. Because Damien Karras in that movie, they switched it up with Damien Karras, so well, the demon rebuilt him, and he was the possessed person in The Exorcist 3. And then the police detective from the original Exorcist shot Father Damien Karras. Right? Shot him and killed him. And the exact same thing happened here, except Marcus shot Andy. So, and I was really shocked, to tell you the truth, that Andy died. That surprised me quite a bit. Right? That surprised me quite a bit, that Andy died. Then all of a sudden, after that, we see, after Andy's died and Marcus is back to normal, and Thomas is back to normal, we see that, we see the police show up, but, Mouse, Thomas, and Marcus, they're long gone. And then all of a sudden the police detectives are interviewing Rose. And then all of a sudden, she tells them pretty much what happened, except she doesn't tell them that Andy was possessed by any means, but she does tell them that Andy pretty much killed people. The family, knows the truth. Right? And then all of a sudden, Rose and everyone comes out of the room, and we see Father Thomas watching the kids. Now, watching the kids. Now, Father Thomas, he goes on to rely, the message, he goes on to relay the message to everyone that, pretty much Andy's final words for everyone, and that makes everyone feel very happy. And, Marcus says, Andy died to save all of you and to prevent the demon from, possessing other families, right? Possessing other people with families and, tormenting them. He died pretty much to save you. So, and then all of a sudden, after Thomas leaves, we get a flash forward before the episode comes close to coming in. 3 months have passed. I believe that's what it said. 3 months. But before the flash forward, we see Mouse, Father Marcus, and Father Thomas in like a hotel room. Mouse is working on a car so they can leave. And then Father Marcus pretty much, tells Thomas, you need to talk to Father Marcus. And Thomas goes and talks to him. And then this kind of shocked me too, that Father Thomas informed informed Father Marcus informed Thomas that that he's unworthy to be an exorcist anymore because, he killed someone and, still sin and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, Father Marcus leaves. So right now, Father Marcus is in the same position as the young Father Merrin in The Exorcist, the beginning, or Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist. He's in that same Dominion, because when we pick that movie up, Father Merrin has lost his faith, and Father Thomas has fully lost his faith now. And then all of a sudden, they part ways, and then Thomas pretty much leaves with Mouse. But before that, Mouse and Thomas talk. Thomas has been like pretty much saying, like, how can I do this alone? Right? Thomas was my teacher. He taught me pretty much everything I know. And then Mouse pretty much says, if Father Thomas, if God brought you and Marcus together to start your journey, maybe he brought me to you so you can finish it. And then they drive off together. Now, the 3 months fast forward, we see Truck getting picked up by Rose and saying, I found a new home for you. And they go to the new foster home. And you see all the kids, Verity, Harper, Shelby, and Caleb. And you see all the kids. And then it turns out that Rose was rewarded as a new foster parent. So they got to stay with her in her place. And then we see Father... This might have been before the flash forward, but I can't remember. We see the integrated Father Bennett. Yes, Father Bennett is fully integrated. We see him wake up, and he kills the nurse in the bedroom. And then kills the nurse in the bedroom. And now we're about to end the episode. We go to this dock. Right? We go to this dock. And Father Marcus is like working as like a ship unloader or whatever he's doing. So I take it he's still in Seattle. Right? And then all of a sudden he's like taking a break and leans over the railing, and then you hear like thunder growing, and then you hear this weird noise. And all of a sudden, God is talking to Marcus again. He's like, oh, you're not done being exorcist yet? There, buddy, I still need you. And then the message he relays from what Marcus says is that Father Thomas is in trouble. And then that's when it just ends, when he starts to cry a little bit, and that's when the episode ends. Is Father Thomas is going to go season. If we get lucky and it gets to season 3, I have a feeling it's going to be the newly revived, faith-driven Marcus trying to save Father Thomas and Mouse from my take from what we saw close to the end from the integrated Father Bennett, or even a bigger threat. Now this is Ghost Jake signing out. I will talk to you later. Bye.